Greetings of the day, dear students. I hope you all are doing well. This is the fifth video for Standard 7 I am making. In this video, I will conclude the first unit of the chapter, that is computer hardware components. In this video, we will talk about different types of secondary storage devices, different types of communication ports and modems. So let us proceed with the topic and let us see all the topics one by one. So let us start with the topic, that is secondary memory, which is also called secondary storage devices. The secondary memory or secondary storage devices are the units where data or information can be stored for future use. The secondary storage has a higher capacity as compared to the main memory. The different types of storage devices are hard disk, magnetic tape, floppy disk, magnetic drum, optical disk, pen drive, etc. Now these days, dear students, magnetic tape, magnetic drum, floppy disk, these are not in use, though in very rare cases, in very few places, floppy disks are used. So we will talk about floppy disk in the next slides. Before we go to the next slide, let us talk about difference between primary memory and secondary memory. Primary memory is the main memory of the computer system. Secondary memory, that is the secondary storage device, are called the auxiliary memory, where stored data can be retrieved. Now auxiliary memory means it is a helping memory to boost the feature of a computer. Data and instructions in a primary memory get erased as soon as the computer is switched off. Now this is in case of RAM. In RAM, as I taught in the last video, that whatever the data is stored into the RAM, it get erased as the computer is switched off. In secondary memory, data or instructions are stored for further use even when the computer has been switched off. So let us start our topic today with the first secondary storage device, that is floppy disk. A floppy disk is a type of storage media capable of storing electronic data like a computer file. The floppy diskette was first created in 1967 by IBM as an alternative to buying hard drives, because those days hard drives were extremely expensive. Below is a brief history of three types of major floppy disk. Now the first type is 8-inch floppy disk. The first disk was introduced in 1971, and this disk was 8 inch in diameter with a magnetic coating enclosed in a cardboard case with a capacity of maximum 1 megabyte. Then the second one came in 1976 and later became a standard in 1978. This was a 5.25 inch floppy disk were available in a capacity of 160 KB to maximum 1.2 MB. Now the most famous floppy disk which came was of size 3.5 inch. The diameter of the floppy was 3.5 inch. It was also created by IBM in 1984. These disks were first introduced with a total capacity of 720 KB. Later on, it became 1.44 MB, which were widely used in 1990s and were seldom found or used by 2000, because during this 2000 year, disk, optical disk, DVD and many more other secondary storage devices were introduced. Now let us talk about the most important secondary storage device we use nowadays, that is hard disk drive. A hard disk drive is also called hard drive, HD or HDD. It is a non-volatile data storage device. Now what is volatile and non-volatile I discussed in my last video, dear students, if you remember. It is usually installed internally in a computer attached directly to the disk controller of the computer's motherboard. That is, it is connected to a computer's motherboard through some data cable. The first hard drive was introduced to the market by IBM on September 13, 1956. The hard drive was first used in the RAMEC 305 system computer with a storage capacity of 5 MB and a cost of about $50,000. Now, if you see $50,000 for 5 MB, that is $10,000 per MB it was costing those days. The hard drive was built into the computer and was not removable. The hard drive was built in such a way that people were not able to remove the hard drive from the system. It was integrated. In 1963, IBM developed the first removable hard drive with a capacity of 2.6 MB. This was the storage capacity. Then the first hard drive to have a storage capacity of 1 GB, that is 1 gigabyte, was also developed by IBM during 1980s. It weighs 550 pounds and cost around $40,000 those days. Now let us talk about a secondary storage device which is used nowadays in most of the computers, especially in laptops, the new laptops. Now this secondary storage device is called SSD. In modern computers, SSD are used as a primary storage device instead of HDD. HDD, that is hard disk, are slower than SSD when reading and writing of data is compared. Nowadays in most of the new laptops, hard disks are used as second main storage device and SSD are preferred as first or primary storage device. This is because of the faster reading and writing speed of the SSD in comparison to hard disk. The primary SSD may contain the operating system. Now, why it is preferred to put the operating system into the SSD, dear students? Because the reading and writing speed of SSD is much faster than HDD. That's why the booting of the operating system is very fast. Along with the operating system, it is preferred to put all other softwares which we need to install into the computer. These softwares are also put into the SSD. And in secondary HDD, the documents downloads, audios, videos, all these things we may put. Now dear students, you might be thinking that what is exactly a solid state drive? It is a new generation of storage device used in computer. Solid state drive replaced the traditional mechanical hard disk which we are using nowadays in our computer lab, even at your home if you have desktop or laptop. Now it has replaced the traditional mechanical hard disk by using a flash based memory. Now flash based memory, when we say, the new solid state drive work completely differently. They use a simple memory chip called NAND flash memory which has no moving parts and near instant access time. Now let us talk about another secondary storage device, that is compact disc. Compact disc is an optical storage device. It is used for electronic recording, storing and playback of audios, videos, putting texts and other informations in a digital form. The standard CDs have a diameter of 120 mm and can hold up to 80 minutes of uncompressed audio and video. Now dear students, why CD is called optical data storage device? It is said as optical disc or optical data storage device because, now let me tell you, first of all, it is not a magnetic storage device like floppy disk. Floppy disk use magnets. Now also it is not a hard disk. Hard disk is a solid state storage device. In optical storage device, the data is read using a laser beam from the medium, from the disk. A compact disk runs with the help of a CD drive. Generally, a CD drive is available with the specification of 52x, where x represents the data transfer rate. It is given, that is 1x is equal to 150 kilobit per second. Now, a CD-ROM has the capacity to hold 700 MB of data, which is much more than the capacity of a 3.5 inch floppy disk. If you remember, dear students, in my previous slide I said that a 3.5 inch floppy disk contains a data up to 1.44 MB. A CD-ROM can be classified into two categories. The first one is CDR and second one is CDRW. CDR means compact disk recordable. That means only we, after putting the data into it, we cannot erase or modify the data. We can read the data again and again whenever it is needed. But just the opposite of CDR is CDRW. That is compact disk read rewritable. That means we can read and we can write, we can edit the data, we can remove the data and we can put a new data again in compact disk RW. In this disk we can erase the data as many times and we can put a new data into it. Now let us talk about DVD, that is digital versatile disk. Now DVD is superior to a CD in terms of storage capacity. It is a silver colored disk with a diameter of 4.75 inch. A DVD has the capacity to store much more data than a CD. A CD stores up to 700 MB, whereas a DVD can store up to 4.7 GB. The performance of a DVD is superior to that of CD. A DVD requires a DVD drive or a DVD player, which allows the reading of CDs as well as DVDs. Nowadays DVDs are also coming up with HD DVDs, that is high definition density DVD. Why it is called high density DVD? Because HD DVD can store 3.2 times as much data per layer than a normal DVD. That means up to 15 GB. That's why DVD is called superior than CD. Now dear students, we will talk about the power supply unit of a computer which is connected inside a CPU. This is also called SMPS. The full form of SMPS is switch mode power supply. Switch mode power supply. Now SMPS is a small box placed at the back of the computer's cabinet. It is a power supply box that provides regulated power to the computer system. It works on the principle of switching the load current on and off. It allows stabilized voltage to the output for the smooth working of the components on the motherboard. The main advantage of SMPS is that it activates the working of the computer at minimum power loss. Dear students, SMPS is called the power supply unit of the CPU. Now what a power supply SMPS does? Now the wires of the power supply SMPS is connected to the motherboard, and all the components of a CPU like a hard drive, RAM, the CPU processor, the CD drive, etc., whatever is connected inside the CPU cabinet, this power supply box provides the current according to their need. Now let us talk about another kind of optical disc which is called Blu-ray disc, and it is much more superior than a DVD or a CD. A Blu-ray disc is a high capacity optical disc medium developed for recording, rewriting and playing back high definition video. It can store large amount of data and was designed to supersede the DVD. Blu-ray was jointly developed by a group of personal computer and consumer electronic company called the Blu-ray Disc Association. Blu-ray discs support higher resolution and more advanced video and audio formats compared to DVDs. Blu-ray technology gets its name from the blue-violet laser that is used to read Blu-ray disc compared to a DVD's red laser. A blue laser permits more information to be stored at a greater density. For example, While in a DVD it can store 15 GB per layer, a Blu-ray disc can store up to 25 GB and a dual layer Blu-ray disc can hold up to 50 GB of data. Now let us talk about the main board of a computer system, that is motherboard. Motherboard is also referred as the main circuit board, base board or system board. It is placed at the back or base of the computer's cabinet. It is a printed circuit board that provides a platform for various components or ICs of a computer. Motherboard allows the power allocation to CPU, RAM and other hardware components of a computer. Now, why motherboard allows the power allocation to all these components, dear students? Because in the previous slide, as I said, that the power supply unit is connected to the motherboard and motherboard provides the necessary voltage, the necessary current to all these components. Motherboard holds and allows communication between many of the crucial electronic components of a system, such as CPU, the memory, that is RAM and ROM, and also provides connectors for other peripherals, like when we connect a keyboard or a mouse or a printer, all these connectors are connected to a motherboard. Dear students, as in the previous topic, while teaching motherboard, I said that motherboard provides some connectors to connect keyboard, mouse, printers, etc. Now these connector points are called ports. Ports are the connecting nodes to interface the peripheral devices with the processor. They are also known as communication ports. They act as a bridge between the external devices and the CPU for data communication. The different types of ports available in computers are as follows. The first port we will talk about, that is serial port. Dear students, nowadays in our computer which we use or which we buy, in this computer serial ports are not being used because it is almost obsolete for a general purpose computer. Why it is obsolete? Because these port takes much time to transfer data, that is, it takes 8 times longer to transfer a byte. Serial ports are usually available with 9 pins or 24 pins and basically allows connection of mouse, modem, etc. Now a picture of a serial mouse is given to the right hand side, dear students, if you can see. Now we will talk about parallel port. This is a type of port available with a 24 pin female connector and is capable of transmitting 8-bit signal at a time, that is, the bit travel parallel to each other. The transfer rate is 8 times faster than a serial port. This port is basically provided to connect CD writers, scanners, printers, hard disk, etc. Now to the right hand side, dear students, there is a picture of dot matrix printer. Now this dot matrix printer is connected using a parallel port. Now we will talk about one most important port used nowadays, that is USB port. This port is especially designed to connect printers, plotters, mouse, joystick, pen drives, digital cameras, etc. with a single plug arrangement. It avoids pin configuration of the ports. Students, USB is a plug and play interface that allows a computer to communicate with peripherals and other devices. USB connected devices covers a broad range, that is anything from a keyboard to a mouse to music player and flash drives, etc. etc. Nowadays USB may also be used to send power to certain devices such as smartphones and tablets, as well as charging their batteries. Now students, here you can see the picture of some ports which are not there in your syllabus or in your book. Now first we will talk about the port that is written as PS2 port, that is also called personal system 2 port. Now these PS2 connector are used for connecting keyboard and mouse on the computer. Now the green color port which you can see, that is mostly used for mouse, and the purple color port that is used for keyboard. The another port you can see, that is a serial port, and the other one at the top right hand side it is written parallel port. Now VGA port is called video graphics array port, where we connect the monitor. Now other than these two, we will talk about HDMI and DVI port. You might have heard about HDMI and DVI port. HDMI, that is high definition multimedia interface, and DVI, that is digital visual interface. Now the main difference between HDMI and DVI is HDMI carries video and audio both. That means HDMI port carries the signal of videos and audio both. DVI only carries video. It only carries video. So that is the main difference between these two. Students, I could have explained more about ports, like there are many more other ports than what you saw just now. Even the ports which you saw just now has a work culture, like the data transferring speed, the resolution, etc., etc. And other these ports which you saw just now, there are many more ports which are used in a computer. So someday I will make a video regarding that. So at present, now let us talk about modem, which is there in your book. Now what is modem? As you know, a computer only understands and accepts digital signals coming from different sources. In this circumstance, you need an intermediate device that converts analog signal to digital signal and vice versa. Thus, a modem is a device that modulates outgoing signals from a computer and other digital devices to analog signals. It also demodulates the incoming analog signals and converts them into digital signals for the digital device. Now, as you read that modem modulates and demodulates the signal. Now, what is modulation and demodulation? Modulation is the process of encoding information in a transmitted signal. Modulation is the process of encoding information in a transmitted signal, while demodulation is the process of extracting information from the transmitted signal. The key difference between modulation and demodulation is that modulation is done at the transmitter side, while demodulation is done at the receiver side of a communication system. Now we will talk about types of modem. The first one is internal modem. An internal modem is attached to internal slot of the motherboard. These modems are categorized as full duplex and half duplex modem, which are used for fax and internet communication. These can also be used for data and voice communication. Now dear students, what is full duplex and half duplex? In full duplex mode, sender can send the data and also can receive the data, but one at a time. It is two-way directional communication, but it is done one at a time. And other than this, in full duplex mode, sender can send the data and also can receive the data simultaneously. It is two-way directional communication system which is done simultaneously in full duplex. Now we will talk about external modem. External modem is a small box connected to the communication port of a computer. It works similar to the internal modem. The only difference is that the external modem is placed outside the CPU box. Then we will talk about USB modem. The term USB modem refers to any type of data, fax, voice modem which can be connected to a computer using USB port. The term is commonly used for a specific portable device that looks similar to a USB flash drive but is smaller in size. These small portable USB modems do not require power because the power is given by the port itself. Here the chapter comes to an end, dear student. With hope that you gain some extra knowledge, I am always putting something extra which is beyond your syllabus, which is not there in your book. And I also feel that as a responsible student, you all are watching the YouTube videos made by the respective teacher of your class and also doing the assignments on a regular basis as well. Students, I will come with a new video and with a new topic. Till then, stay home, stay safe. Thank you.